So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, riding on board with our Colombian driver, 32-year-old Edwin, our Season 1 champion, 2019 Season 1 champion of the GT3s. Does excel in these cars. He's actually his favourite class, and I remember this guy, he's unbelievably fast around Monza in the GT3s. That's actually where I met him, just doing Monza lobbies over and over again, and he's truly a class act on the track. Really can get that thing going, that Merc AMG. We've seen some of his hot laps on his YouTube channel as well. His Monza hot lap, I think he did a 44.6 around Monza, which is absolutely incredible when you think about that. There's how little time there is to gain, and he's a second or 2 seconds faster than most sim racers out there. It's all about the braking zones around that track, and it's similar to this one actually. It's a hot, low downforce, heavy braking zones. And here comes Edwin out of the final corner of the C as he's about to start his first hot lap of the qualifying session. And this will be his first lap since rejoining RubbingsRacing, having had Season 2 of 2019 on the sidelines. Here he comes, Edwin over the line to start his qualifying lap. First man out of the pits. As he comes into Castrol, taking a little bit of curve on the exit, not too much, a little bit of a wobble there on the exit, just about kept it together here as he comes down the straight, up the hill. This very, very steep incline. The TV cameras do not do that justice. That is a very, very steep climb here up towards the top of the hill, up into Remus now, and taking a wide entry, a little bit of curve on the mid corner, not too much, and not taking any curve on the exit, opting to stay on the grey stuff and keep it smooth on the exit of that corner. Here he comes now up towards turn 3, which is Gursa, and he's going to be hard on the brakes, very wide, almost onto the grass there on the entry, just about keeps it on the white lines there, not too much curve on the exit. He's not really using much of the track on the exits, is Edwin. He's using all of it on the entries to the corner, taking as wide a berth as he can on the way in, and being very tidy on the way out, we're seeing here. And again, using a little bit of the runoff area on the entry to Berger, and that will be in bad lap time there. That was all four wheels off the track on the exit of Berger, so that will be lap invalidated for Edwin as he comes in towards Rindt now, named after the famous Jochen Rindt. And here he comes into the final corner. Lots of Austrian drivers actually have corner names named after them around this track. You've got Lauda, which is obviously named after Niki Lauda, sadly passed away in the summer of last year. Was obviously well known amongst modern F1 fans for being part of the Mercedes team. And then you've obviously got Gerhard Berger, who raced for Ferrari for a number of years, Austrian driver as well, and I believe he owned Toro Rosso a little while ago as well. So obviously quite an influential figure in F1. And then you've got Jochen Rindt as well. So these guys all have their kind of like a trademark to them around this circuit. Let's see what's going on at the top of the leaderboard. We've got Damobi here, fastest lap so far, 129.2. That's same as what he did in the practice session. I'm expecting that maybe Jasko might be sandbagging a little bit here. He's yet to do a lap still. Currently still sitting in the pits, has not budged from that pit garage so far, has our man in the red and black Lamborghini. What's Dalavan up to at the moment? It's currently P2, 3/10 off of pole position. Dalavan, new to RubbingsRacing, his first race in the GT3 Championship tonight. Was 5th in the pre-season time trial around Donington, so we know he's got the talent and the pace in these things. Was actually not very far off the fastest time at all. I think it's about half a second off of Bruce Law's fastest time, which is pretty damn solid when you think about it. He's a very quick and clean driver. Finished second this morning in the Formula Renaults at Monza. He's got bags of pace and a lot of talent as Dalavan. It's great to have him on board. As we see here, our Season 1 champion Edwin has done the second fastest time of the session so far, a 1/10 of a second behind Damovi as it stands at the moment. Let's see what these other guys are doing. Johnny, we haven't spoken about Johnny yet. Johnny's coming over the line now. Did an excellent lap time, brilliant effort in the time trials, pre-season time trials. Actually went second, I think, of all. Was the only man other than Bruce Law to get into the 126s, and he's got lots and lots of pace, and didn't really get the chance to show it in last season's championship. Joined halfway through the season, but Johnny, he's a 33-year-old. His name's actually Anthony. He's racing out of France, but he's originally from the UK. Started karting when he was just 8 years old, and actually had a stint in Formula Ford and F3000, but had to stop due to the expensiveness of racing in the motorsport business, which is understandable really. He's actually in the French Foreign Legion as well. He's been in that for the last 12 years and loves sim racing as a way to wind down and relax from the stresses of day-to-day life. It's great to have Johnny in here. We've got masses of pace. Currently 1.2 seconds off the pass this time here in the Porsche, but I'm expecting that there will be more time to come in that. Oh, as he gets a little bit out of shape. Oh, we've got a yellow flag in the middle sector. Jasko has to dive out of the way there to avoid him. But Johnny there losing the car there. What's Traven up to now? Traven's currently P5. He's 0.8 of a second off of pole position at the moment. And Traven finished 7th in our pre-season time trials at Donington. Was a regular in the GT3 championship last season. We saw a lot of him. Very, very good racer. See, Ken Smith says, I'm guessing Demobi fixed the issues with his throttle pedal. It looks like it, Ken, because Demobi's absolutely flying at the front at the moment. Seems to have something around this circuit that the others just simply don't have. We know it's his favourite track. He's said before that he loves this. That he loves the RedBull ring. It's always gone well around here, and we're seeing that right now. Ken Smith also says, "Who's that sexy voice?" I don't know of any sexy voices, Ken. If you were here, it would be a different story. But at the moment, there's no sexy voices on this stream. Islander Jim says the quality of the races and the commentary is great. Keep it up, guys. Thank you very much, Jim. Smurf G says, well, I could have guessed that one. Good luck, Ugbar. Ugbar's biggest fan, again, making an appearance in the chat. It's great to see our Flying Dutchman with plenty of admirers here in the chat. Exiting the pits now, actually, is Ugbar. Our 45-year-old from Hoogeveen in the Netherlands is actually a league coordinator on our Discord. He runs the LMP2 championship, which actually had its first round yesterday. And the winners in those races was Bruce Law, who's currently P7 in our classification. He took the sprint race, and then Flaky, who I mentioned earlier, one of the new rising stars in RubbingsRacing, took the feature. Ugbar coordinates that league. Last season it was LMP1s, this season it's LMP2s. The idea behind that was just to make the racing closer and better and have less incidents really, because those LMP1 cars very, very difficult to handle, and they don't really create the best, closest racing that you can imagine for. We wanted to make it more enjoyable for the participants and for the viewers at that as well. So we've changed it up a little bit, but Ugbar, lead coordinator for that one, and a very, very valuable member of staff to the RubbingsRacing team. But good to have Ugbar with us tonight. See what Duftino's doing. Currently holding a top 10 position here, and he's actually changed his car for this season. He was in the Lamborghini for the entirety of last season, but for this one he's moved to the Bentley. Oh no, he's actually in, hold on, he's in the Audi. So he's changed to the Audi. It looks like, yeah, he's in the Audi. So he did actually change to the Bentley at one stage in the off season, but he's switched it up again, and he's joined the Audi team for season 1 of 2020, and currently, as he loses the car on the exit there of Lauder Curve, we've got a yellow flag here in the middle sector. Duftino's lost the car, but Duftino was a steward on the RubbingsRacing Discord for a little while, but he's had to relinquish that to concentrate on his own life, and we understand that obviously life comes first, and RubbingsRacing is just a part of our lives. It's not all of our lives, and we can understand that 100%. Duftino, 20 years old, from Olomouc in the Czech Republic. His favourite classes are the GT3s, which is great for this. The GTEs and touring cars he also enjoys. And his favourite track is actually Brno, which he lives less than an hour away from. Sorry, he's been there several times. Went to watch the MotoGP there not too long ago as well. There he comes, Duftino out of turn 1 now. A little bit of a wobble, but he's currently 1.7 seconds off of the fastest time. That's a lot lower down than what we would have seen last season in the Lamborghini, but maybe he's just getting up to speed in the Audi, trying to figure it out as best he can. And that's all you can do really. It's a learning process. Whenever you change to a new car after you've done so much testing in the certain car, it does take a lot of familiarising to get yourself to the point where you can actually do it consistently. Let's see what Bruce Law's doing. Currently in P7 at the moment. Bruce Law Won the sprint race last night in the LMP2 championship. Finished second, was on the podium in the feature. He's 32 years old, from Chester in the UK. He loves the LMP cars. Was actually third in the LMP1s for RubbingsRacing last season in Ugbar's championship, and runner-up in Actral Vision's Endurance League twice. He did the fastest time in our pre-season time trial at Donington Park here for the GT3s in RubbingsRacing. He's got plenty of talent in these cars, talent that he hasn't really yet shown. He raced a few times in last season's GT3 championship, but unfortunately our races kept coinciding with the F1 races, the likes of the USA and Mexico being held in the evening UK time. It just simply made it very, very difficult for us to run our league effectively. And Leonardo says, Andy, can you activate the minimap? Yes, I can, Leonardo. That's a good point. I shall do so right now. It's looking like an interesting classification at the moment. We've got Yasko, our reigning champion, at the top of the leaderboard. He's moved to the top. So Yasko VR, our reigning GT3 champion, has moved himself up to the top of the pecking order. 0.2 of a second now faster than Demobi. Yasko currently provisional pole, was dominant winner in the end of last season. Leonardo, who incidentally just commented, was pushed him a long way in the season, but ultimately Yasko wrapped it up with a round to spare. He's Bosnian, racing out of Austria, and his favourite classes are the GT3s and the GTEs. His favourite track is RedBull Ring and Spa. So we're all in trouble tonight, guys, because if Yasko's favourite track is the RedBull Ring, then he's going to be hella fast around here. We all know Yasko's quick enough at tracks he doesn't like, let alone tracks that he loves. So it's going to be very, very tough. But Demobi looks like he's more than up to the task of fighting him for the win here tonight, as does Edwin, as does Dalavan. To be honest, these guys are not going to give this one up lightly. It's going to be a wet sprint race, I'll remind you all. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this one plays out. And the track should dry out near the end of the session, according to our weather forecast in race 1. So again, lots to keep your eye on in the RubbingsRacing League, as we see Yasko flashing his lights here at a car up ahead here. That looks like it might be, is that Daftinia? Here he comes into Louder Curve now. And let's have a look down the order. Who haven't we not spoken about so far? Uniclark. Oh, as we see, there we go, onto the grass there, Uniclark. But Uniclark is our 39-year-old from Swindon. Recently joined the RubbingsRacing Marshall team. Has been in RubbingsRacing pretty much since the start. He was runner-up in the RRTCC RubbingsRacing Touring Car Championship last season. Pushed Luke Bennett, who was our Pro Esports driver, all the way until the last race of the season. Luke's obviously jumped over to iRacing now and is moving on up the motorsport ranks, but we wish him all the best if he's watching. Shout out to you, Luke. Uniclark over the line now. Let's see what he can do. We know he's got the pace in these GT3s, and that looks like it's an outlap, so he will be starting his final lap of the session now. Who else have we not mentioned? NRP. That's Nicky Rennie Patterson. Here we go. We've got our 33-year-old racing out of Silverstone. He's a marshal at Silverstone, as well as one of the team in the Silverstone venue services. Always has lots of his friends watching the stream, looking out for him and cheering him on. Shout out to all of Nicky's friends and family watching us tonight. He loves all forms of motor racing. His favourite classes are the WRC and the Group Cs, and friends say he's an easygoing type of guy, nice easy guy to get on with, which I can well believe. Nicky's a great guy to have on board with us. He's actually joined the Marshall team as well, and he's done an excellent job in welcoming new people to the league and really being one of the more sociable guys, friendly guys on our Discord. And he believes that the race cannot be won at the first corner. It's always a marathon, not a sprint in motor racing. He's a massive fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs as well, so I'll give them a little shout out just to I'm sure they'll love that. But here we go. So Nicky's 0.3 down on his personal best at the moment in the first sector. Doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement at the moment. Matty Cake, one of the new guys to the RubbingsRacing League also. He's 46 years old, loves anything that isn't front wheel drive, and pretty much has been racing on and off for decades. Enjoys sim racing because it's a lot cheaper than real life racing. There's Lionsfoot, our Welsh driver from Swansea, Marshall on the RubbingsRacing Discord as well. As we see, Yasko VR has gone even quicker He's improved his time by what looks like 0.3 of a second. He's gone half a second quicker than Demobi. That is phenomenal from our current reigning champion of our GT3 division. So Yasko VR set to start on pole position here for tonight's race, round 1 of the GT3 championship here at the Red Bull Ring. Demobi looks like he's going to be starting alongside him on the front row. Unless he can pull something out of the bag on this last lap, we're going to ride with him as he comes in towards the final couple of corners now. Here he comes through Rint and into the A1 corner now, and let's see how he can take this one. He's going to be right on the limit here, pushing it onto the curves as much as he can. Demobi currently P2 on the front row of the grid. Can this be pole position? Our German driver comes over the line, and it's not enough. It looks like Yasko is going to be starting this one on pole position, ladies and gentlemen. Our reigning champion picks up where he left off here in the RubbingsRacing League. Demobi, fantastic job, brilliant effort starting alongside him on the front row. Edwin and Dalavan lining up behind these guys on row 2. Then we've got Thorsten Smith on his debut in RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship, 5th alongside Travis Withercher in 6th. Then we've got Johnny and Bruce Law in 7th and 8th. NRP, Uni Clark, 9th and 10th, rounding out the top 10. We've got Duftinho, Matty Cake, Lionsfoot, Ugbar and Traven rounding off the field. Duftinho, expected him to be a lot higher up in this, but he's still getting to grips with that Audi. He's obviously got a new wheel as well, or newish, so there's a little bit of teething going on here. We're going to continue to start the sprint race here, guys. It's going to be a wet race, and we'll see you guys in just a moment. And guys, I just would like to say to keep it clean, keep it respectful, obey our rules. As you all know, you're all a standard to be. You all set the standard here at RubbingsRacing. Whatever we show on these streams is what we expect of anyone watching, anyone looking to join RubbingsRacing. So show the world, show everybody, show all of our viewers what we're all about here at RubbingsRacing. Jeff Sharp says that Lambo is so quick if you can tame it. Well, it is, but it's difficult to keep that rear end in check. It's so tail happy. It's very, very quick in a straight line, and it's got that front end grip. It's all about making sure that that rear end can match what you've got on the front, and if you can do that, you're going to be a pretty happy chappy in these cars. Welcome everybody to RubbingsRacing's round 1 here of the GT3 Championship. We're here at the Red Bull Ring. Red Bull Ring was opened in 1969 as the Osterreich Ring, built as a replacement for the unloved Zeltweg airfield circuit, and it has been used pretty much consistently since it was opened in 1969. It's a very, very steep incline up towards the first 2 corners. It's a very technical track to get right. Low downforce, but then again, you need to account for that middle sector where you've got the Lauda curves and the Berger curves lined up next to each other. You need to make sure you've got a car that's set up very nicely for those, otherwise you're going to find yourself in trouble in this one. And in these wet conditions, with this with the gradient of some of these corners, it's going to be very, very tricky putting the power down and getting these cars turned in. So we've got Yasko VR lining up on pole position here. He's got Demobi alongside him. Demobi putting in an excellent shift in our qualifying session. We have got 10 seconds to go, guys, until the start of this race. Thank you to all the guys on YouTube. Thank you for your comments. We're about to go racing here at the Red Bull Ring for a new season of GT3s here on RubbingsRacing. When these lights go out, we will be underway for the 2020 Season 1. And lights are out, and away we go. Looks like a good start from pole position from Yasko VR. Yes, Edwin's got a better start than Demobi. Demobi's absolutely swapped off the start, and we've got a collision already in the background there. That looks like Matty K, NRP, Uni Clark and Duftinho, and we've got a spinner. Yasko spins at the first corner. Our reigning champion there already in the wars. Looks like Edwin's on the inside of Demobi. These guys are going to go wheel to wheel down towards turn 2. Oh my goodness, look at that spray. I wouldn't want to be one of these guys at the moment. This is absolutely unbelievable weather conditions. Here we go. So we got Edwin here on the inside of Demobi. These guys have been very cautious here as they come through the right hander at the top of the hill, and it looks as though Edwin's got the inside here of Demobi. These guys still wheel to wheel side by side here as we come down towards turn 3. Looks like Demobi on the outside is trying to get a better straight line speed than Edwin, but Edwin's going to keep his nose in there and just about hold the position on the inside. The AMG there with the inside line and the advantage. A little bit of grass there on the side, and he's going to make a little bit of contact there, wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper. It looks like Demobi's going to go around the outside, and he's going to have the inside for the next corner. Fantastic job from Demobi there, back up into P1. These guys going at it. In the meantime, Johnny has moved his way back up to P3. He's right behind these guys, bumper to bumper, nose to tail here. And Thorsten Smith's moved up a position into 4th place. Dalavan's dropping backwards all the time. He's gone back down to P6. It looks like Jasko is working his way back up after that little spin coming through turn 1. He's up into P5 at the moment. What are these guys doing? We had the incident on the straight at the first corner. It looks like we've got Matty Cake has made up a couple of positions after the start. What's Ugbar? Ugbar, Flying Dutchman's down in last place at the moment. Disastrous start for Ugbar. And we've got someone going pretty slowly there on the exit at the last corner. Who's that? Looks like somebody there struggled a little bit coming out of there. It looks like it might have been Bruce Law or it was Traven possibly. And we've got a couple of guys going wheel to wheel here. It looks like they're about to go 3 wide. But it looks like they're going to keep it clean. Oh, we've got someone going diving up the inside. That looks like Uni Clark there. And backs out of that one in the end. It looks like he was trying to poke his nose in. But in the end had to back out of it. Due to the fact that you can't get 3 cars into one corner. Especially in the wet conditions. Especially around the RedBull ring. Where you've got such a difficult climb out of the corner. But it looks like they're okay for now. And in the background there it looks like Matty Cake is up the inside there of Duff T. Oh, he spun it. Matty Cake loses the car. We've got a yellow flag through the middle sector. Matty Cake spun it, trying to make the move there on Duftino. Duftino looks like he's held the position here, but he's being hunted down by NRP in 11th place. NRP is going to be going after that final top 10 spot. Bruce Law currently struggling. Bruce Law's spun the car. He's onto the gravel. Unbelievable, Bruce Law. We've got a yellow flag here coming through turn 4. Bruce Law in the wars already. So we got Demoby here leading the race. He's got 8 tenths on Edwin at the moment. Demoby, track specialist, loves the RedBull ring, driving the car that he calls Goldzilla, the black Nissan GTR. He's got a gap of just over a second now. He's pulling it out to Edwin, our Colombian driver, season 1 champion of 2019. So it looks like we've got Demoby currently bossing things here at the RedBull ring out at the last corner to complete the second lap. Edwin here just over a second behind him. What's going on in the middle of the pack? Looks like we've got Johnny here closing on to the back of Dalavan here for P5. And lots of guys, it looks like we're pretty close in the middle of the pack here as well. What's going on as we come down the pit straight? So Dalavan just ahead of Johnny. And in the foreground there we can see Jasko looks like he's made the move there on Traven up P3s. Traven doing an excellent job there in P4 at the moment, really is. But it looks like he's been picked off here by our reigning champion as he comes up towards turn 3. Looks like he's held the position. Traven can't fight back at the moment as we see that spray. And Jasko, a little bit of Traven runs into the back of him. So Jasko is not going to be in the slightest bit happy with that. Having said that though, he's pretty much held it together. So it looks like we're as you were for the time being. Here's Dalavan and Johnny going wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper, and is Johnny going to make a move coming down towards turn 4? Looks like he's not quite close enough on this occasion, but there's very, very close racing between these guys. Johnny's going to look to try and get that position back as soon as he can. Was running really well on the opening couple of laps, but he's dropped back here a little bit. Must have had an off somewhere on the track. He's going to try around the outside here of Lauder Curve, but he's not close enough. Right on the white lines on the edge of the track. As soon as you get onto the grass in these sorts of conditions, that's it, game over in these GT3 cars. But he just about keeps that Porsche on the grey stuff here. And looks like Dalavan there had a little bit of a wobble going through Bergen. Johnny's going to have the inside here coming up towards the last couple of turns here. And is he going to make a move here coming under the Worth Bridge? Looks like he's not going to make a move at the moment. But Dalavan and Johnny very, very close. And while they fight each other, this is going to allow Traven to potentially catch up to them as well. Duftino in the Audi's picking his way back up after the first lap issues. He's up into 8th place. Here we go. So what's Dalavan going to do? Is he going to go defensive here on Johnny? Nope, looks like Johnny's not going to make the move at the moment. And the rain looks like it's coming down a little bit more now than it was. We've got fog here as well, so the visibility is absolutely atrocious. We're going to ride on board with Johnny now and see what he's seeing. And you can just see that spray there coming from Dalavan's car. It looks absolutely treacherous. I would not want to be one of those guys on the track at the moment. This is so difficult just to keep those cars pointing in a straight line. And Dalavan's gone very, very wide there going through turn 2. And Johnny's going to have the inside now coming up towards the right-hander at the top of the hill. Here we come, up towards Gusso, and it looks as though Dalavan's got the straight line speed here. He's able to pull out the gap, but Johnny's going to look up the inside. He's going to go for it, and he's going to push him out. He's going to run out of road. Looks like Johnny's got the position. Dalavan's going to have the inside, though, for the next corner, Lauda. And there you see Johnny trying to avoid the puddles on the inside. It's absolutely terrible weather conditions here. The rain is really coming down now, and we're seeing that these guys are just having to look out for every little puddle, every little possible trip up hazard that we've got around this track. But it looks as though Johnny's got it at the moment. Johnny up into P5, Dalavan dropping back, and in the meantime Travan's closed in on these guys a little bit. What's going on with Duftinho? He's got Thorsten Smith right behind him now in the battle for P8. Here as they come under the Worth Bridge, and it looks as though Duftinho is going to having to start thinking about defending here from Thorsten Smith. Just 0.2 of a second separating him on the track. Thorsten Smith last time around was half a second quicker. But that gap may have stopped falling a little bit because Duftinho possibly holding Thorsten Smith up. Here as they come down the pit straight, Thorsten Smith closing in. You can see that car is getting very, very close here in the spray. He's going to pull out of the slipstream. Thorsten Smith's going to go for a move here going into turn 1. And it looks like he's got him. Duftinho not fighting it too hard. He's going to go for the undercut here. Duftinho gets a lovely exit coming out of turn 1, and he's going to fight back here, pulling alongside Thorsten Smith as they come down the back straight towards turn 2. Looks like they're going to fly up the hill here, and Thorsten Smith may have to start thinking about going defensive here. No, in the end there, a lot more confidence on the brakes. Having said that though, he's got extremely wide, and Duftinho is going to have a look, but no, again, the exit just a little bit too compromised. Couldn't really maximise his exit due to the fact that Thorsten Smith was on his left hand side. If he had gone for the exit, he would have ended up running into him, and that would have been absolute carnage. So Duftinho there being sensible. While this is happening, they seem to be closing a little bit on Travan, and the gap between Dalavan and Travan seems to be staying pretty much the same. In the meantime, we have got a battle here going on for P2. Demobi leads the race by 2 seconds, but Edwin is being homed in on now by our reigning champion. The two champions of the RubbingsRacing GT3 series seem to be about to go will to will. We've got Edwin here just managing these wet conditions very, very nicely in second place, but Jasko is closing the gap. Here, last time around Jasko was a second quicker than Edwin. Let's see what their lap times are like this time around. I'm sure it's going to be pretty much the same because I didn't see Jasko right on the back of him before, but he seems to be closing in now. Yep, there we go, second quicker once again. Jasko's absolutely flying, our Bosnian based driver racing out of Vienna, and one of the stars of our GT3s, champion of last season, sealed the championship with a round to spare. Absolute class act on the track is Jasko. True honour to have him in the RubbingsRacing League. Here we go, we're coming into turn 2, and it looks like both of these guys have closed in a little bit on Demobi. Demobi must have had some kind of moment here coming through the first sector, and there we go, Demobi's off! Demobi's off, Demobi's spun it, coming through turn 2, unbelievable, race leader! Oh, that's gutting for Demobi, he drops it, he's down to P4, he's pushed off the podium. Just as we started talking about him, he seems to have lost control of the car, and that's allowed Edwin into P1, but he's got Jasko right on the back of him. Travan in the meantime, is that Travan, or is it Travis with a... It's Travis, I'm very, very sorry. I've been getting those names wrong, they've got the same abbreviation, so Travis is up into P3, and he's right on the back of these guys. Travis had with a fantastic chance of winning this race. He's been creeping his way up the field, and he now finds himself right behind the leaders. Phenomenal. Travis on his debut here in the RubbingsRacing League. We haven't mentioned him earlier, but Travis, his favourite class is the GT3s. He's been racing on project cars for over 3 years now. He really enjoys the Formula O's and the LMP2s as well. And it's great to see him up there fighting here for the victory. Just the second separating these top 3 guys. Edwin seems to have pulled out the gap a little bit here this time around on Jasko. And last time they were actually pretty much matching each other, stride for stride. Here they come, over the line to complete lap 6. Edwin, our Colombian driver, champion of Season 1 2019. Leads the race. He's got half a second here on Jasko, and last time around there was just 0.2 of a second separating these guys in their lap times. It's very, very close here. The fog seems to have cleared up a little bit. We've got beautiful clear visibility here now in Spielberg in Austria here at the RedBull ring, and the spray still very, very prominent, but it looks like it's going to be clearing up pretty soon. This got clear weather conditions, absolutely beautiful out here, although the rain's still coming down just a little bit. We've got spitting here up towards turn 3, and is Jasko going to go for a move here coming up towards the top of the hill? Looks like he's going to look to the outside. Edwin's going to go very defensive. Edwin's going to have to be late on the brakes if he doesn't want to get past here. Yasko holding it around the outside. Oh, it's going to be an unbelievable move if he pulls this off. It looks like he has. Yasko VR up into P1. Fantastic move. Can Edwin fight back coming here through up towards Lauder Curve? Is Travis going to go for a move on Edwin? Oh my goodness, it looks like Edwin's got a little bit loose here coming out of Lauder up towards Berger. And is Travis going to try on the outside? These guys are going to have to keep it clean. It's going to be difficult in the spray to keep it together. But it looks as though Travis... Oh, Edwin squeezes him out. Looks like we've got Edwin still holding on just about ahead of Travis. But this is not over, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like Yasko in the meantime is pulling out the gap on these guys, making the most of these guys battling. And let's see what Demobi's doing at the moment. Demobi has led for the majority of this race. Finds himself down in P4 after a little spin coming out of turn 2. He seems to be closing in on the leaders actually. Let's check out these last lap time and see if that gap's coming down. Here he comes over the line. And the lap time last time around from Demobi was actually faster than any of the front three. So Demobi's lapping quicker than these guys at the front. He's only 3 seconds behind them, so this could be very interesting. Could Demobi be playing himself into contention for the race win here at the Red Bull Ring? Round 1 of RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship. Thank you for your comments, everybody. Jeff Sharp says those Beetles look to have the grip in the rain. They do indeed. It was a hell of a move from Yasko for P1, and Travis looked like he might have been in with a chance of taking Edwin for P2, but Edwin with some fantastic defensive driving really did run him out of space. The console, these guys are going at it. They are, the console, and it looks like Edwin's closing back onto Yasko again. And as the track dries out, it looks like our Colombian is getting better and better grip and making the most of these changeable conditions now. It looks like the track's absolutely bone dry on the exit of that corner. You can see no spray whatsoever, so I'm expecting that we could potentially see ourselves with dry conditions towards the end of this race. Are these guys going to come in for a pit stop? Are they going to switch to the slicks? It's going to be fascinating to see how this one goes. Console says buzzing to see how Edwin and Yasko work it out. Well, these two guys, the two champions of the GT3s in RubbingsRacing, find themselves 1 and 2. It looks like Yasko here has pulled it out a little bit on Edwin here in the final sector of this lap, and Edwin going very wide onto the curb, knocks the braking marker with him. The other guys in the field will not thank him at all for that as we come over the line to complete lap 8, and Travis very wide onto the curb, and he's going to find himself pretty close to Demobi here as they complete lap 8. Yasko into the first corner. He's got a lead of 9/10 over Edwin, and these two past champions of the GT3s, well, Yasko, the current champion of the GT3s, Edwin, a past champion, look to be going at it here. And Yasko's lap time last time around, 7/10 of a second quicker than Edwin. And Yasko VR, Bosnian, is absolutely flying at the moment. Really has got the hammer down now, and as the track dries out, these guys are going to go quicker and quicker. We just saw a little bit of rain on the camera lens. I don't know if it's going to be coming down any more heavily than it has been, but to me, anyway, it looks like we're going to have... it's going to be drying out more and more as the race progresses. What's going on in the rest of the pack here? Let's have a look. So we've got Demobi P4, Johnny currently running P5, looks to be all by himself at the moment. Dalavan, there we go, P6. We got Thorsten Smith running in P7 at the moment, our German driver new to RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship. Traven running in 8th. We've got Duftino, first race in the Audi, down in 9th place at the moment. I'm sure we'll be looking to pick it up for the feature. Uni Clark, our man from Swindon, running P10. Then we've got NRP, Nicky in 11th place. Bruce Law having an absolute shocker at the moment, down in P12. We're expecting more from him in the feature. We know he's got the pace and the talent, and I'm absolutely certain that he will not be in P12 in the feature. Ugbar, our Flying Dutchman, having an off day today. He's down in P13 at the moment. Oh, a little bit of wobble coming out of that corner, but just kept it together there, coming out of Gersa. And looks like the track pretty much bone dry in the middle sector now. Matty Cake, first race in the GT3s in P14. And we've got Lionsfoot, our Welsh driver from Swansea, Scotty, running at the back of the field at the moment. I don't think that these guys are going to be pitting in this race, Jeff. This is a timed race, no mandatory stop, and I think by the looks of it with the spray, it's probably worth staying out, just staying on the wets until the end of the race. But you never know though, if the sun suddenly comes out, then we could have a whole different story and it could be worth changing. But at the moment, lap times are about 6 or 7 seconds off what they would be in full dry conditions, and when you add that into the equation, it's probably just not worth taking the risk of pitting in. These guys are probably going to keep it going until the end of the race, unless there's more rain coming. If there's more rain coming, they will definitely have to stay on the wets. But it looks like at the moment Jasko VR with the race in his command, but Edwin's not letting him get away with it. Still, that gap only 7/10 of a second here. So Edwin, our Colombian driver, not letting our Bosnian get away with this one. Jasko driving the Lambo, the same livery that he drove last season, the 666 livery, and he's had a little bit of wobble there coming out of Lauda, and Edwin's going to close right onto the back of him. Edwin had to get out of it there a little bit because the little wobble from Jasko took him unawares, and he's lost a bit of time here as they come up towards Rint corner and up into A1, and there we go. Edwin very wide again, all out of shape on the curbs. Out of the last corner now to complete the 10th lap here. We've got just under 4 minutes to go in our sprint race here for RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship, round 1 at the Red Bull Ring. Stay with us for the feature race we got coming up after this. In the background, what's going on? It looks like Demobi here is trying on the outside here of Traven. It's going very close wheel to wheel. It looks like Traven just about holding on the inside, but Demobi's going to have a good exit coming out of turn 1. He's going to try and get him coming down this long straight up the hill towards turn 2. Here we go. Looks like Traven's going to go defensive here to the inside. Demobi's going to have to go round him if he wants to get this done. Demobi on his favourite track led the first phase of this race. Can he go around the outside of Traven? No, he's hit the cones on the outside and they're not going to get it done that way. You can't go over the long way around that corner when the off the racing line is so wet like it has been in this race. The early part of this race really has set the tone for the tracks, for the state of this track. And as we can see here, Traven defending the line, holding his nerve and holding his position on the inside. But having said that, there, Demobi definitely with a nicer exit coming out of Gosa and into Lauda, and just about Traven just holding on to the position, but he's definitely going to be fast on the inside here. Looks like Demobi up the inside, Traven onto the gravel, so Demobi is up into a final podium spot. Our German Bavarian driver is, and also RubbingsRacing steward, runs the Hot Lap Challenge on the RubbingsRacing Discord. Be sure to check that out. Sign up to the Hot Lap Challenge and get your lap time in for the BMW M1 Pro car. But Demobi, our steward, is up into P imitation this race. He led the opening laps in the full wet conditions, had a spin on, I think, but it looks like he's done a good job here fighting back. And P3 currently for our German. Jasko's pulled out the gap a little bit on, we're on to what I think will be the penultimate lap of the race, barring any kind of earthquake or something hitting the track and causing everyone to crash out. It should be as you are at the moment in terms of the top 3. I think Demobi, though, Demobi's not going to have it easy though by the looks of it. He's got a little bit out of shape there coming out of turn 2, and Traven's got back by him again. Traven up into P3. Unbelievable racing. Looks like Traven and Demobi are going at it here on lap 12 of our race. We've got 2 laps left to go, including this one, and Traven not giving this one up, staying in the podium spots for the time being. Brilliant driving there. Traven was a regular in the GT3s last season, didn't race in all of the races, but towards the end of the season he was pretty much one of our main guys racing in the league. Did a good job at Hockenheim. I think we finished P5 in that one in the last race of the season. I remember because I was racing with him. Jasko and Edwin are 6, says Ken Smith. I think they are, Ken. They're class above the rest. Although Demobi, having said that, Demobi can match them around this track, but at the moment lapping faster than anybody else. 134s from these 2 at the front. Here comes Jasko. Oh, Edwin keeps going very wide at that penultimate corner, taking lots of curb. I'm sure that's hurting him. Maybe a little bit of understeer. Oh, Demobi's off. We've got a yellow flag in the final sector. Demobi's in the wall. Demobi in the Nissan GTR is in the wall. It looks like that's going to allow Johnny through. That's also going to allow Dalavan and Thorsten Schmidt to come through, and it looks like Thorsten is all over the back here of Dalavan for P5. This is going to be a fantastic battle. Demobi in that little crash has dropped down to P8, now P9. Demobi stopped it. Demobi's retired from the race. Demobi is out of this race. Unbelievable penultimate lap of the race. Demobi out of the session. It looks like Jasko is going to take the win here. He's got a lead of 1.4 seconds over Edwin. And Jasko had to fight back a little bit in this race. Didn't have the greatest start to this one. He ended up down in P6, I think, after the first corner. Had a little bit of a spin. Maybe it might have been a bit of contact, which is to be expected here at the Red Bull Ring in wet conditions. But he drove brilliantly from that moment on, and fought his way up into P1, got past Edwin, Traven, and Demobi, and has controlled it from the moment he got in the lead. Edwin's given him a lot to think about in the second half of this race, but Jasko's kept it together very impressively, and he's just going to come into the last couple of turns now. Comes into Rint, and Edwin's closing right up onto him here at the end of this race, but it looks like Jasko's got it in hand. Edwin doing that same thing again, going unbelievably wide, coming through the penultimate corner. There's a lap car there in the foreground. That looks like it might be the Lions Foot, but Jasko is going to take the victory here in a sprint race here at the Red Bull Ring for round 1 of RubbingsRacing GT3 Championship. Edwin follows them over in second place. Traven, fantastic effort from Traven, ends up completing our podium here in our sprint race. Johnny over the line in 4th, Thorsten Smith 5th, then we got Dalavan following him over in 6th position, and Travis, excuse me, Travis completes the podium. Traven is going to come over the line in 7th position, just ahead of Uni Clark in 8th. Then we've got NRP, who's just rounding out the final corner in 9th place. Bruce Law is going to complete the top 10. We're expecting that Bruce is going to be a lot better in the feature race than he was in this one. Bruce Law over the line in 10th, and actually did a 34.2 on that last lap. That was only 0.2 of a second off of the fastest lap of the race. So Bruce Law definitely with the pace. We know that we'll be seeing a lot better in the feature. So Matty Cake, it looks like he's going to hold on for P12 over the line ahead of Ugbar. Where's Lionsfoot? He's just coming through the middle sector now in the Lamborghini. New to the Lamborghini team is Lionsfoot, raced in the Ferrari last season, and is doing a solid job in the Ferrari, but in the Lambo maybe not to his liking just as much. Sim Race Live says nice race. Jeff Sharp says great race. It was an excellent showing from these guys. Jasko in the end, and Edwin classes of the field, but I'm sure that Travis will be looking to get involved in that one in the feature race. It's expected to be dry, our feature race, so it's be interesting to see if these guys can keep up that sort of pace, which will be similar to what we saw in qualifying. I imagine we had the dry qualifying session preceding the wet sprint race. Guys, stay with us for our feature race, or we back on in about 10 minutes or so. We're going to let these guys have a break and stretch their legs and chill out for a bit, and then we'll be getting ready for our feature race. It's going to be a reverse grid based on the results of our sprint race, so it's just going to be a backwards order from these results. So Jasko will obviously start at the back, and vice versa. Whoever finished 15th will start at the front. Guys, we'll be back with you very, very shortly. Stay tuned, stay away, stay around. And Demobi there. So Demobi actually will be starting on pole. Don't know if that was a little bit of tactics there to try and give himself an advantage for the feature race, but Demobi there will be starting on pole. Lionsfoot second, Ugbar third. Guys, we'll see you very, very shortly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to RubbingsRacing. We're here for the feature race here of round 1 of our GT3 Championship. We have got Demobi here leading the pack around for our formation lap here. These guys are going to form up along this little back straight here at 50 miles an hour, and then we're going to go round the final corner. And then once we're around the final corner, Demobi can set the pace whenever he wishes. He can put his foot down and the track will be green. We've heard a team radio that somebody's spun off here, so we're gonna have to adapt. So if we want odd numbers on the right and even numbers on the left, please. So odd numbers on the right, even numbers on the left. Whoever's spun out, start at the back. We're coming around the last corner now, so when Demobi wants to go, the track will be green. Demobi, you can go anytime you want, and our feature race will be underway. And it looks as though he's just bunching it up, and it looks like we've gone. Demobi's put his foot down. We are underway for our feature race here for RubbingsRacing round 1 of the GT3 Championship. Demobi absolutely flying off the blocks. Looks like Matty Cake looking up the inside here. He moves up the inside of Duftini up into P3. So we're through turn 1. Looks like Demobi in the lead. Let's have a look and see if these guys are keeping it clean here. Coming through turn 1, we've got a couple of guys going very, very wide there. It looks like Johnny there onto the artificial grass. It looks like we've got Thorsten Smith's moved up into P8. What's going on here? Jasko's going very wide. He's going to go wheel to wheel here. It looks like he's got past Edwin here. So Jasko's got past Edwin. These two guys who fought for the win in the last race seem to be going wheel to wheel already, and Jasko's going to go up the inside here of Lionsfoot. Is Edwin going to try and follow him through? Jasko passes his teammate Lionsfoot, and it looks like Edwin, the Colombian driver, is going to also look to the inside of our Welsh driver from Swansea. What's going on up front? Demobi leading the way. Ugbar not letting him go, just staying there very, very close in the murk. Looks like we've got Traven here on the right on the back here of Bruce Law for P3. Bruce Law with a good start and seems to be chasing down Ugbar and Demobi already. Jasko with a fantastic start. He's already cleared Duftino in the Audi, and Duftino's losing the goal. Oh, he almost loses it. Just about held on to it there, going through Lauder curve. He's going to have to get out of the way of the pack here because he's going to be out of sync with everyone else as they come through Berger. And as you can see there, Travis having to back out of that at the last second there. He looked to be going around the outside of Dottinho. So as the end of lap 1, it looks like we've got Demoby leading the way. Demoby has a lead of 1.5 seconds over our Flying Dutchman. Then Bruce Thor just behind them in third place. Coming over the line now, Bruce Thor, what a start from him. Up into P3. Thorsten Smith has going around the outside here of Traven. Up into P4. Can he hold it into turn 1? Yes, he can. Thorsten Smith up into P4. What's NRP doing? He's right on the back of Traven now for he's currently in P6, but he's looking to get that position done as soon as he can here. Nicky in the slipstream. Is he going to go for a move going up towards turn 2? He's got the closing speed. Is he going to look to the inside, or is Traven going to cover the position? Looks like Traven very late there, defensive move. Can Nicky go around the outside of turn 2? No, he can't. Not this time around. But he's going to get a lovely exit out of turn 2, and he's going to look to the inside of Traven here, coming down this long straight up towards Gersa. Here we go. These guys going to go side by side. Nicky pulls alongside, but can he get the move done on the inside? No. Looks like Traven's going to slam the door, and Nicky has no choice but to run into the back of him a little bit of wobble there from Nicky on the exit. That might allow Dalavan to have a little look here, coming around this next corner. What's going on up the front? Ugbar looks like he's... Oh, we're going to stick with this battle actually, because it looks like we got Nicky trying around the outside here of Traven. Can he hold the position? And we got someone onto the grass just up ahead of them. It looks like Bruce Law up into the gravel. Must have been a collision there with Thorsten Smith or Rugbar there, but Bruce Law losing heaps of time and lots of positions in the process. Looks like Traven there just about held on for the position there ahead of Nicky, but it's very close racing between these guys. Can Dalavan get himself back up into P5? He had a little look on Nicky there, but thought better of it. Thought he doesn't want to get involved in that little action. Our current champion, Yasko VR, has moved his way up into P7 already at the end of lap 3. Fantastic driving from our Bosnian. He's going to look to the inside here of Dalavan into turn 1. Can he make the move? And in the foreground there, we've got Traven looking up the inside of Nicky. Can Nicky hold it around the outside? Looks like he's just about holding on a position, but it's very close racing. And Yasko here, right behind all these guys, watching them all fight it out here. These guys are going to go 3 wide coming down towards turn 2. We've got Nicky, Dalavan and Traven going wheel to wheel. Who's going to back out of this one? Nicky on the outside here, holding P4, but these guys are going to dive up his inside. And he's going to have to let both of them go. It looks like Nicky onto very wide onto the artificial grass there, coming out of turn 2. So it looks like we've got Dalavan in all of that, managed to come out of it better. He seems to have cleared these guys off, and Yasko's looking to the inside here, but has to back out of that. Traven running him out of road, slamming the door. We've seen Traven do that a couple of times already in this race, but he's doing it pretty fairly, to be fair. It wasn't, I would say it was RubbingsRacing as far as I'm concerned, and obviously RubbingsRacing, we accept that rubbing is racing. So it's all good in the rule book at the moment, but these guys going very close in the opening laps here for round 1 of our feature race. What's going on at the front? Demoby seems to be pulling out the gap here in P1. He's got 4 seconds currently on Ugbar out front as he exits the final corner now to complete lap 4. Demoby had an absolute field day. It turned out to be a bit of a blessing in disguise, his retirement at the end of the sprint race, because it's allowed him to start on pole for this feature race, and really has run away at the front in the first couple of laps here. Ugbar driving around in P2 at the moment. Our Flying Dutchman seems to be all by himself. We know he had a little battle with Bruce Law. We didn't catch it on the stream, but we know there was a collision of some sort which has dropped Bruce Law down to P15. He has been in the pits though, so Bruce, I believe, has been in the pits. He's the only man to have pitted so far in this race, so it'd be interesting if he can close that gap to under 30 seconds. He could put himself in with a chance of getting a podium in this feature race. In the background here, looks like we're going to go round 2 between Nicky and Traven. Nicky currently holding the position, but is Traven going to go for a move? Looks like he's not close enough this time at the moment. Edwin is also siding his way back through the pack, and Yasko, I believe Yasko's been in the pits. Yasko's been in the pits, so Yasko down in P13 has already come in for his mandatory stop, I believe. We'll get word on that as soon as we can. But Edwin, our Colombian driver, has done an excellent job in these first few laps up into P6 already. He's right on the back of Traven now in P6. Edwin was the sort of season 1 champion in 2019, won our first ever GT3 season in RubbingsRacing, and took last season out to have a little bit of a break, concentrate on work, concentrate on life. But here he comes now, and he's made a hell of a bang in his reappearance here in season 2020. Hearing a team radio there from Scotty. Not sure what happened, but he's not too happy with what's happened. Says over the team radio that some people need to learn how to race properly. Well, didn't see what happened, but sounds like he's not at all happy with the conduct of some of the drivers in this race so far. Meanwhile, the battle for P2 heating up here. We've got Ugbar and Dalavan separated by not very much at all. 0.3 of a second here. Dalavan's picked his way through the pack and has done a great job in this opening stint of this feature race. Finds himself right on the back of the Flying Dutchman here as they come out of Lauda and into Berger Curve. And can he go on the outside? No, it looks like Ugbar's got the inside for now, holding the position and holding his nerve. But our Flying Dutchman with a good start to this race. Had a little bit of a mare in the sprint race in the wet, but definitely got it better in this one. He's holding on from Dalavan and parking his car in all the right places at the moment, holding on to the position. Last time around, or the lap before this one, Dalavan was actually 2 seconds faster than Ugbar, so it just goes to show how much of a good job Ugbar is doing in keeping him behind him. And there's a train of cars here behind these guys, and is Dalavan going to go for a move here, coming into turn 1, down the pit straight. He looks to the inside, pulls out of the slipstream. Ugbar's going to leave the door wide open. Dalavan goes up the inside, dives, makes for a move, and looks like he's done the position, although Ugbar's going to have the outside, and Ugbar's going to have a much better exit there coming out of turn 1. And these guys are going to have a drag race now down towards turn 2. It looks like Dalavan's got the inside. He's going to maybe go defensive here. Ugbar back into the slipstream. Can he go for a move here coming into turn 2? No, it looks like Dalavan's got the move and got the position done. Dalavan up into P2. Can he chase down Demobi in P1 now, or is it going to be too much of a task? He's 10 seconds behind him, and Ugbar here definitely dropping back. He looks like he's going to fall back into the clutches here of NRP. NRP looking very pacey here at the moment. It's in the early stages of this feature race. Finished mid-pack in the sprint race here, but it's absolutely flying at the moment. Currently running P4, and he's you can see there visibly closing onto the back of our Flying Dutchman now. NRP will be wanting to get a podium here. Nicky racing out of Silverstone, Marshall at Silverstone, works for Silverstone Venue Services, and is racing through and through, named after Nicky Lauda. And here he comes, driving through Lauda Curve, incidentally, and it looks like he's going to go up the inside here of Ugbar. These guys are going to go side by side, but it looks like Nicky had to back out of that there, because they were very, very close, and if he hadn't backed out of it, there probably would have been contact. But there's a little bit of a bump there, and Ugbar is into the pits. So Ugbar makes his mandatory pit stop on lap 8 of this race, and Nicky's up into the final podium spot by default due to the Flying Dutchman's pit stop. Looks like Edwin's picking his way through the pack. He's got past Johnny and Uni Clark. Edwin, our Colombian, is up into P4. It's been a great start to the race for Edwin. And Yasko, just having a look through the order there, I'm pretty sure Yasko has been into the pits. I haven't had confirmation of that. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he must have been, because we didn't see any incidents or anything involving him. So I believe Yasko has been into the pits. If anyone can confirm, it would be massively appreciated. If anyone can confirm if Yasko's been in or not, it would be massively appreciated. But anyway, we go. Welcome back, everybody. I'm not sure what happened there. The stream just dropped off for some reason. It just got a notification on my screen saying that the broadcast had been stopped, but everything seems to be in order now. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but we seem to be back on air, guys. And sorry for that momentary delay. But currently leading the race, we've got Demobi here pulling out. Our Colombian driver Edwin has had an absolute barnstormer of a start to this race. He's up to P3 from the back of the field, and he's closing in on Dalavan now. At the moment, in the background there, looks like Johnny might find himself under pressure here from Uni. Down to P6, and finds himself behind Uni Clark and Johnny, but I'm sure he'll be wanting to fight back here. We're currently on lap 10 of this 30 lap feature race here at the RedBull ring. We've got dry conditions, we had a wet now to keep these cars under control in this feature race. And we've got Edwin here, our Colombian driver, closing in on Dalavan. Had Yasko VR come into the pits already, the last season's champion. and winner of the sprint race here at the RedBull Ring this evening in the wet conditions. Had to overcome a little bit of adversity coming through the first corner of that race, but he's got it back up for the win in that one, and it looks like he's currently running P8. So at the moment, as it stands, it's going to be very, very close between himself and Demobi once Demobi comes in for his mandatory pit stop. And we've got a spinner. Johnny's lost the car coming through the penultimate corner. Can he get it going again? He looks like he's got it. Maybe it was him coming into the pit lane, veering off to the side and losing the car on the exit there. So Johnny's got it going again. Thank goodness for that. Hello, welcome to everybody on the stream. I'm sorry about the momentary delay that we had. The stream for some reason just cut out during the broadcast. I don't know what happened, but we've got it going again. Technical difficulties here at RubbingsRacing. No one's immune to technical difficulties. It happens from time to time, but it looks like we've got it going again. And Johnny there into the pits had the little spin coming out the penultimate corner. Got it going again. Looks like we're all good as for the time being. Clark is being homed in on now by Nicky. Nicky fighting back after the mistakes that he made a couple of laps ago. Not much between these guys. He's just a second on the road at the moment. Nicky seems to have some kind of penalty, slowdown penalty on the screen here. Thank you guys for joining us on the stream. Again, I just want to say to all of you guys, sorry about the stream cutting out there. Not my fault, technical difficulties. I just had a notification pop up on the screen saying the broadcast has been stopped. I've got absolutely no idea why, but I'm glad to say we are all back on air now.
I've got absolutely no
And that's the most important thing. That's what we want to see. Clark here, our man from Swindon, 39-year-old, runner-up in the RRTCC last season, doing an excellent job in P4. Has picked his way through the pack. Didn't have the easiest start to this feature race, but seems to be coming back now, and looks like he's coming into the pits here for his mandatory stop, so that will release Nicky into some clean air, and maybe put himself a little bit closer here to the likes of Dalavan. Dalavan doing a wonderful job here in P2, holding off or keeping the gap here to our Colombian driver Edwin, Season 1 champion. Dalavan in his debut in RubbingsRacing's GT3 championship, but really doing a solid job here, as did Travis in our sprint race. Travis finished on the podium, currently running P7, having started lower down the grid due to the reverse grid for the feature race. But I just want to say massive shout out to Travis for his debut race in the sprint in wet conditions. Really excelled, and that's what we want to see. We want to see these new guys putting it to these experienced veterans here at RubbingsRacing. It's really an excellent to see the new guys cutting their teeth in and doing a good job. Let's see what is going on here. Yasko is looking for a move here on Traven, a P5. Yasko, we know, obviously went into the pits very early on in this race for his mandatory stop, and he's looking to the outside here of Traven. He looks like he's done it. Looks like he's going to go around the outside here of Loudon. No, Traven's going to hold him off. Good driving from Traven. Very close, very fair racing. A little bit of a contact there, but very, very clean, more or less, from those guys. And it looks like Traven, for now at least, holding the position. Jeff Sharp, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. And looks like Yasko is going to try and make the move around the outside of Traven here. Does Traven have a slowdown penalty? Definitely seemed to have a slow exit there, coming down that back straight. But he's got it going for now into the final curve, and it looks as though Traven holding off Yasko. Doing a brilliant job at the moment. Kenneth Smith says, pesky World Wide Web. It is indeed. When it works, it's fantastic. When it doesn't, it's a different story. And looks like Traven defending for everything he's got there. Looks like Yasko had the move on the outside, but Traven late on the brakes into turn 1. Holds on to the position just about, but they're going to go wheel to wheel now down towards turn 2. And Yasko on the outside here, definitely looking very feisty, like he wants that move, but maybe had a slowdown penalty going on the exit there, because he went very wide on the curb, and he has seemed to lift off there at the end of the straight. So Yasko with a slowdown penalty has to relinquish the position to Traven once again. He can't get by him for whatever reason. Yasko just can't get the move done here on Traven. Traven's a very good driver, wily old fox, and here he goes. He's going to defend again to the inside here. Can Yasko go around the outside in the red and black Lamborghini. No, he cannot. And now he's going to find himself open to an attack here from Travis. Travis is right on the back of these guys now in P7. And they're going to go wheel to wheel again. Traven on the inside. Yasko, can he put it around the outside? No, he thinks better, goes for the undercut. But then again, Traven on the inside, covering the inside once again. Fantastic racecraft from Traven. Truly a joy to watch. And in the meantime, he's going to be holding Yasko up no end. Yasko, in his pursuit of the race victory here, has already been in for his mandatory stop. Demobi, the race leader, still has to make his mandatory stop. But looking at the timing boards, it definitely looks like Demobi in the box seat for the win for this race. In the meantime, Travis into the pits for the mandatory stop. Travis into the pits. We've got Traven here coming down the pit straight, and Yasko is going to look to the outside there. I thought it disappeared for a moment there. Yasko comes out from the slipstream and looks to the outside, but Traven's got the position done on the inside. Yasko's going to have to do it all over again. It looks like he's going to go to the outside. Traven goes defensive very early, coming down this long straight up the hill towards turn 2. Wheel to wheel, side by side. You could put nothing between them at the moment. And Yasko looks like he's got the move again on the outside. But is Traven going to go late on the brakes on the inside? Yes, he is. Yasko goes for the undercut. And again, Traven, very aggressive blocking there on the inside. Holds on to the position. And down the back straight up towards the top of the hill. Traven again, holding off our Bosnian GT3 champion. Fantastic racing between these guys. Traven just about keeping hold of this 5th position. And this is going to be holding Yasko up all the time. Yasko just can't seem to clear him. And he's going to look to the outside again. And Traven looks like he must have had a slowdown penalty there, because he seems to have let him past. Very unlike Traven. He fights for every position, every moment that he can. But it looks as though Yasko, our Bosnian driver, finally has cleared Traven and is up into P5. What a drive, what racing there from Traven. Fantastic to see him going at it. And in the meantime, it looks like Edwin's got past Dalavan here for P2. So our Colombian driver's managed to move himself up there. Dalavan dropping back down a position. But can he fight back here coming up towards turn 2, or is he not going to go for that position? Lee Kendall says, go NRP, Mr. Silverstone. And Nicky here with the supporters in the chat. Always a very popular guy on and off the track, but he's definitely got some of his colleagues here fighting for his corner and shouting his name out. Go Nicky, says Lee Kendall. Let's see what Nicky's up to actually. He's riding on his own at the moment, still yet to come in for his mandatory stop. He's 24 seconds off the race leader. When he comes in for his mandatory stop, he should come out around Uniclark, or between Uniclark and Ugbar, I would say, looking at the timing screens. Be interesting to see how high up Nicky can get in this race. But at the moment, it's doing a very, very good job here. Our man racing out of Silverstone. And Jeff Sharp says, what a great battle. I assume he's referring to the battle there that we had between Yasko and Traven. Traven's into the pits. Traven's been into the pits, so he emerges in P11, a minute off the pace. Just goes to show him what a job he was doing there, fighting our Bosnian driver Yasko there. We weren't really racing in the same race, but looks like Yasko's cleared him. And let's have a look at the timing screens, because Yasko, yeah, he does seem to be closing on Demobi now. Now he's in clear air, he definitely is closing that gap. Dalavan, meanwhile, is not letting Edwin go with this one. Currently P2 and 3, Edwin and Dalavan, and not much to separate them. Edwin was closing in on Dalavan for a number of laps, but couldn't really seem to make an impression. He's eventually got past him, and Dalavan sticking to the back of him. But Dalavan, again, I just want to say another shout out to Dalavan. He has done an excellent job here in his debut in the GT3 Championship at RubbingsRacing. Thank you to all the guys for rejoining us on this second stream of the night. Apologies for the breakup on the other one. I don't know what happened. It just cut out completely at random, and it was quite unusual. But we were all back on air, we're all sound, we're all good. And thank you to all the guys, all the 20 guys on stream for rejoining us very, very quickly there.
Online and big lobbies and leagues. None of them do
Let's have a look through, see what's going on with Johnny here. Johnny is going wheel to wheel. Looks like Thorsten Smith and Udbar there on either side of him. And we're going to go down to turn 2. It looks as though we have got Thorsten Smith leading the pack here, but Udbar up the inside of Johnny up into P8. And Johnny very, very wide on the exit there onto the curb. Just about keeps it together here. Thorsten Smith up in position, up 2 positions into P7. Looks like Udbar here on the inside of Johnny. They're going to go wheel to wheel coming down towards turn 2. And it looks like Johnny's got it on the outside. Is Udbar going to go for a move at the inside? No, not quite close enough here. Our Flying Dutchman. He's going to stick onto the back of Johnny though and see if he can fight back here coming through up towards the louder curve. Good driving there from those guys. It was very, very close on the track, and they're keeping it together, marshalling each other with expert precision here. Johnny in the yellow Porsche seems to have got back by Udbar. Maybe he was behind him to begin with there, but Johnny doing a good job here. Jasko, fastest lap of the race so far, 1:30.1 with a good amount of fuel in that car. That is a very impressive lap time there from our reigning GT3 champion. And again doing a solid job. The gap to Demobi, 30 seconds. Jasko, having been in for his mandatory stop, is in a very privileged position right now. He means that once Demobi comes in, he should be very, very close to him on the track. It'd be interesting to see if Demobi can come out ahead of Jasko, but Jasko's had his foot down ever since he came into the pits. He's had to clear a bit of traffic though. We saw the battle that he had with Traven. He could not clear him for the life of him. It really took a while to get going, but eventually found his way into clear air, and he's doing fastest sector times, fastest laps. So our Bosnian potentially in with a chance of winning this race. If he can keep this sort of pace up, and he will have a chance once Demobi comes in. Evan Hayes says, been quite the race so far. Lots of close racing. The 3 abreast into turn 2 about 10 minutes ago was unreal. He'll be talking about the battle between Udbar, Traven, and the battle between Udbar, Thorsten Smith, and Johnny there. That was a brilliant battle going into turn 2. Unbelievable racing from those guys. So close, and that's what you expect at RubbingsRacing. These guys wheel to wheel, but cleanest guys out there, and some of the fastest guys. These GT3 racers, some of the quickest guys on the PlayStation 4 platform. It's a joy to watch these guys race, and a pleasure to be a part of it all. Looks like Edwin cannot shake off the challenge of Dalavan. Dalavan's still right there. Having said that, the concertina effect on the timing board does seem to be exaggerating the gap just a little bit. That's definitely less than 0.4 of a second there. Edwin holding on ahead of Dalavan here as they come into the turn 3. There are quite a few gaps here on the timing board at the moment. Let's see what Thorsten Smith's up to. He seems to have cleared ahead of Johnny a little bit. In the background there, Udbar here trying to defend from Travis into turn 1. Is Travis going to go for a reverse into turn 1? He's going to go for a dive. Oh, there's a little bit of a contact there, bumper to bumper. Looks like Udbar's going to hold it here, coming on the exit of turn 1, holds the position. Udbar swerving over to the right hand side, saying, what are you doing? That was a little bit aggressive there, but Travis is going to go up the inside. And does Udbar have a penalty? Looks like Udbar may have had a time penalty there, or a warning from the race director, because Travis breezes past him on the straight coming up towards turn 2. Travis up into P9. Our Flying Dutchman there in the end having to relinquish the position. Can he fight back here coming up towards turn 3 though? And looks like Travis has got his number at the moment. Edwin from P3 is into the pits, so Edwin obviously was having that fantastic battle there with Dalavan racing for P2, but our Colombian is into the pits now. So Dalavan, that will release him into some clean air and be able to get his foot down. He does still need to come into the pits, so his battle was probably with Uni Clark, to be honest. He'll be wanting to stay in front of him once he comes in for his mandatory stop. Lee Kendall says, entertaining racing, guys, well done. Thank you very much, Lee. These guys always put on a hell of a show in the GT3s. Our Sunday evening championships. We've got lots of championships here at RubbingsRacing. Oh, as we see, what's going on in the background there? Is that a laps car? Looks like it might be Matty Cake there, losing it on the exit there of turn 2. He gets it going again. Good to see Matty sticking with it. There's Nicky here coming round. We've got with Jasko hot on his heels at the moment. Nicky's not been in the pits, Jasko has, so it'd be interesting to see if Nicky fights for this one. He knows that potentially he might have a... Well, I don't think he's going to be on for a podium because he does have a 12-second gap to Dalavan, but potentially P4 or 5 for Nicky if he can keep going the way he's been going at the moment. Doing an excellent job, our man from Silverstone. And he's got plenty of support here in the chat. Lee Kendall will be absolutely delighted to see Nicky being on for a top 5 here in our feature race here for round 1 of our GT3 Championship here at the RedBull Ring. Again, I want to say thank you to all the guys for joining us on the stream, and apologies for the blip that we had in the middle of the stream when the stream cut out. Again, not sure what exactly caused that, but I'm glad that it's all been sorted out now anyway. And Nicky there, very, very wide onto the curb, but holding it together at the moment. Let's see what Thorsten Smith's up to. He seems to be being closed in a little bit by Johnny, although that might be this concertina effect again, just manipulating the timing board just a tad. Yasko closing right onto the back of Nicky now in our battle here for P3 temporarily, although yeah, Nicky obviously does need to come into the pit lane as we've already mentioned, so Yasko will be looking to clear him as soon as possible. It is battle here for a race victory. The gap between Demobi and Yasko, 30 seconds. So at the moment, I think Demobi should just about have enough to come out in front of Yasko when he comes in for his mandatory stop. But it's going to be extremely close. And I wouldn't want to wager anything on either driver, because at the moment, it's anyone's race here in our feature race. But Nicky definitely holding on at the moment ahead of Yasko and doesn't seem to be letting him go very easily at all. So Nicky wants to gain as much time as he can in this phase of the race. He still needs to pit, and he's not going to be allowing our Bosnian past any time soon, as these guys are closing onto a bit of traffic. That looks like Matty and Scotty up ahead of them, so these guys will have to be aware the leaders are coming through. They will have already seen Demobi and Dalavan come past them, and Dalavan is into the pits. So Dalavan from P2 pits for his mandatory stop, and we're going to see Nicky and Yasko fly around the final corner now. And Yasko's going to definitely have a look at Nicky here coming down the pit straight. Is he going to make a move to the inside? He's going to pull out the slipstream. Is he? No, maybe not close enough. Yes, he does pull out the slipstream. He looks to the inside. Is he going to go for a move? Yasko late on the brakes. Up the inside. Nicky doesn't find it too hard. Yasko's up into P2. That's going to allow him to close the gap here on Demobi and potentially put in a shift for the race win. The gap's 31 seconds at the front. Demobi still has to pit. Yasko does not. What is going to happen in this race? We're on lap 21 of 30 here for our feature race for round 1 of the RubbingsRacing GT3 Championship. This is anyone's race. Demobi or Yasko. Who's your money on? Both love the RedBull ring. Both said in their pre-race intros that it's their favourite track. So when these guys say it's their favourite track, you know that everyone else is in trouble, because these guys are some of the fastest drivers on the PlayStation 4 platform. Absolute pleasure to have them in the RubbingsRacing. An absolute pleasure to have all of these guys on the track. Such good racing, very clean, very fair racing between all of these guys here. What's Edwin up to at the moment, our Colombian driver? Looks like Demobi's in the pits. Demobi's coming to the pits, the race leader. So this is going to be absolutely crucial for the race win here. What's he going to do? What are his mechanics going to do in this pit stop? Here he comes into the box right about now. Where's Yasko on the track? Yasko is just coming through the second to last corner now, and he seems to have some traffic here. And Yasko's had to come into the pits. Yasko's had to come into the pits. So that means that Demobi's going to have the race win. Demobi's going to come out with an absolute cushion here at the front of the pack. And this is incredible. Yasko must have some kind of damage on the car. He's had to bring it in for another stop. So that's going to drop him way back through the pack. That's going to allow Nicky into second place, which is fantastic. And Nicky has got 7 seconds on Edwin, our Colombian driver, in third. So Nicky just 5 seconds off the race leader now. Demobi seems to have had that one gifted to him with Yasko's second pit stop. And this is going to be unbelievable now. We've got 5 seconds between Demobi and Nicky. Can Nicky close that gap? Here, Demobi coming into turn 2 now in the Nissan GTR, the car that he refers to as Godzilla. Doing a fantastic job out front is our Bavarian driver. Got unlucky in the sprint race in the wet. Actually made a mistake from the race lead on lap 4 or 5, I think it was, and dropped down to P4. In the end, his steering wheel failed on the penultimate lap of the race, which caused him to start on pole position for this feature race, with a reverse grid being the way that we do things here in the RubbingsRacing League. And he finds himself with a 5 second lead at the front, but Nicky is absolutely flying at the moment, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely determined to get himself up into contention, although I believe that Nicky does need to come into the pits for another pit stop. Can hear a little bit of disgruntledness coming on the team radio there. I don't know, I think that might have been Matty. Don't know what's going on. Something wrong with the car there, but definitely some noises being uttered on the team radio there. He's not happy with the car for whatever reason. It hasn't been working here in his feature race, and he's retired from the race. Matty is out of our feature race here.
This is undrivable. Undrivable.
Demobi extending his gap here now. Pulled out a second on Nicky that last time around.
Cheers, Scotty.
Nicky, you haven't been in, have you?
No, not yet, mate.
No, I didn't think that. So obviously NRP running in P2 currently at the moment, but he does still need to come in for the pit stop. So Edwin, you see him P3 on your screen right now, will come out in P2 once Nicky comes in for his mandatory stop. Just looking down the order here, we've got Dalavan running in P4. He should move up a position ahead of Nicky once Nicky comes in. I'm just looking down the order, and I think Nicky's race probably with Uniclark or Yasko. Yasko having to make that extra pit stop there for whatever reason. We're not sure why. I'm sure we'll find out after the race, but that's not going to be good for him in his defence of his championship here, looking to retain his title after taking the championship in season 2 of 2019. Last season we saw a fantastic display in pretty much the whole season, was consistent as anything, and well done to Yasko for the win in the sprint race this time around. Ken Smith says, what's the lap count? We're on 24 of 30, Ken, so we've got 7 laps including this one to go until the checkered flag here. We've got a little bit of fog here falling at the RedBull ring now, so obviously we're in the mountains here in Austria, and when the fog comes, it becomes extremely difficult to see where you're going in this particular environment. Obviously when you're at high altitude, fog can just be part and parcel of the game. But at the moment here we're riding with Edwin, and he's holding the gap here to our race leader Demobi at about 11 seconds. Let's hope that Demobi's steering wheel holds up for these final 6 laps here. He's done an excellent job so far in his feature race, really has controlled it, and I'm sure he'll be looking to close this one out here. Bavarian driver from Germany has done a solid job here so far, making up for the calamitousness of the sprint race with an absolutely consistent drive here this evening. And the pack does seem to be a little bit strung out. Whoever that is, can you just mute your mic because I can hear my own voice in the background? Thank you. And Nicky is into the pits. NRP brings it in for his mandatory stop at the end of lap 24. Let's see where he drops back to. I think he should come out somewhere around Uniclark. It'd be interesting to see where he pops out, because Uniclark absolutely with the hammer down did a 31 last time around. Uniclark exiting the final turn now. Let's see where he comes in relation to Nicky. Nicky's in the box, so it looks as though Nicky's going to drop behind Uniclark and possibly Yasko as well. Where's Thorsten Smith? Thorsten Smith's coming down the pit straight now. Is Nicky going to come out ahead of Thorsten Smith? He's exited the pit box now, just coming towards the end of the pit lane. And it looks like Thorsten Smith also making up a position there. Nicky there coming out down in P7, so a slow pit stop there from NRP, and that will be absolutely gutting for Lee Kendall there. Oh, in the gym says how many laps left? Ken, that's the same question that Ken Smith asked there. So guys, we're on lap 25 of 30 here for round 1 of the GT3 championship here. And at the moment, Demobi does seem to have this one under control. Edwin here coming up to a bit of traffic. He's got a Lamborghini in front of him. That looks like it must be Lion's Foot. Scotty here is going to have to adhere to the blue flags. I'm sure he will. Very clean racer. Solid driver here is Scotty. And it's good to have him in RubbingsRacing, one of our Marshall team. And Edwin flashes his lights there, says thank you very much. Very, very kind of Scotty there to move out of the way. Let's have a look and see what's Dalavan doing. Currently running on our final podium spot. He's got 4 seconds now to Yasko. Can Yasko get himself up onto the podium after a turbulent feature race in which he's had spins, he's had calamitous pit stops, but he might have a chance here of getting into our top 3. We have got 5 laps left to go here in this feature race. And Uniclark is also sticking to the task. Well, he's not too far off of Yasko here down the pit straight. There's 2 seconds between Yasko and Uni. Last time around, Yasko was actually a lot quicker than Uniclark. So For whatever reason there, Clark not getting it together. But looks like Shawston Smith there in the background doing a good job there in P6. Where's NRP? NRP's in P7. He seems to have the measure here of Travis. Is that Travis? Yes, it is Travis. It's not Traven. And there's Johnny there right behind these guys in the yellow Porsche. Where's Ugbar? Ugbar is always hit the wall on the inside, and that's going to allow Travis to overtake him on the outside, but possibly. Or is that? Oh, it's Traven. It is Traven. Traven down the outside, down a bit straight, up into the top 10. Ugbar, our Flying Dutchman, in the wars here after making a good start to this race, has really dropped down the field. Disastrous feature race this has been for Ugbar in the latter half of this race. For whatever reason, our Flying Dutchman really struggling here. What's Yasko doing? He's still got a gap of about 3.5 seconds to Dalavan, currently running in P3 at the moment. But I'm definitely concentrating on this battle here. What's going on with Nicky and Travis? Because Travis does seem to be closing that gap. Nicky last time around made his pit stop, so you can't really look at that lap delta as an indication of how quick these guys are going. But it does definitely look like the gap under a second now between these two. Edwin, fastest final sector of the race so far, but I think it's too little too late. He's got to make up a 12-second gap to Demobi if he wants to win this race. It just seems like too much of a task. I don't think he can do it at this stage in the race. The main battles here are Dalavan and Yasko, and NRP and Travis. Other than that, I think we're all set for this feature race here. Demobi with the classy drive here in this feature, making up for the errors in the sprint race. Really has done a great job in the Godzilla car, the black Nissan GTR. Demobi, host of our time trial challenge, the hot lap challenge on our RubbingsRacing Discord. Check it out. Be sure to post your lap in the BMW M1 Pro car. It's well worth getting involved with. If you're quick over one lap, then it's definitely going to be the type of thing that you want to do. And Demobi's heading all of that up. He's one of our stewards on our Discord, one of the staff team, and he's doing a fantastic job in this race. Great to see him running up front here in our GT3 championship this evening. Jeff Sharp says, does he use default? I don't think that Demobi uses default setups for this, to be honest. I think if he was using the default setups for this, he'd have to be some kind of alien. He's very, very good with the default setups, though. I think when he races with the default setups, he tends to get the hang of them a lot better than other drivers. But if he's racing the default setups tonight, then we'd all better be worried, because with a proper setup, we'd be nowhere, as we can see by the timing screens. It looks like Edwin that last time around closed the gap a little bit on our race leader, and Dalavan's definitely being closed in on now by Yasko. Lee Kendall says Demobi's just too good tonight. Well done, champ. Yeah, he has been absolutely excellent tonight, Lee. I've got to agree with you on that one. He's got 3 laps to go now. But what's going on? What's happened? The gap at the front has dropped significantly here. What's happened with Demobi? Something, maybe his wheel cut out for a moment there, but he's lost time. He's lost loads of time. He lost 6 seconds in that one sector there. Just having a look at the timing screens. Edwin has closed in massively, our Colombian driver. Demobi seems to have some kind of issue with the car there. Maybe he's stuck in first gear or something coming out of turn 3. But I could just see that Nissan GTR really sluggishly exiting the top of the hill. But at the moment he does seem to have got it going again. Let's hope that problem doesn't strike again in the closing laps here. He's got just over 2 laps to go until the end of the race. Lee Kendall says, oh no, it should be alright at the moment, Lee. I think he's got it going again. Gary Campbell says, push, 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 Nicky. Nicky at the moment does appear to be holding on from Travis. In fact, he's actually extended the gap a little bit. He went very slightly faster. Not much to separate these two guys, but he was 7 thousandths of a second faster than Travis last time around. So at the moment, it looks like Nicky might have the edge here over Travis. What's going on with Yasko here? He's less than a second here behind Dalavan. This is for the final podium spot. The Lamborghini absolutely closing up here. Exiting turn 1, and there's very, very, very close between these guys. Less than half a second here separating them as they head down towards turn 2. Down this long straight. Yasko in the slipstream. Is he going to have a look at him, or is he not too close? Not quite close enough this time around. Maybe not. Just looks like we're in a whole position here coming through turn 2, but Dalavan has got his mirrors absolutely full of the reigning GT3 champion, and Yasko gets a lovely exit here coming off of turn 2. Up the hill. along this long straight, and that Lamborghini's going to have an advantage here coming down this straight. Bowie says, please don't let this mind-blowing end now. Okay. But it looks like Dalavan here doing a great job of defending here from Yasko, holding the position and holding his nerve, not letting Yasko bully him off the road. What's going on with NRP though? NRP, well, that's the Constantina effect. It's not actually that close. But back with our battle here for P3. Very close between these guys. Just 0.2 of a second, and it looks like Dalavan goes very wide there, coming out of Berger. And Yasko's going to look to the inside here, coming down this straight down towards the final 2 corners of the lap. Is he going to go for a move? No, he thinks better of that one. But Yasko was trying to distract Dalavan in the mirrors there, trying to force him into a mistake. Dalavan having absolutely none of it, although they both go very wide out of the last turn. And Demobi, what's happened to Demobi? The race leaders had a moment here on the final lap. What's happened? Maybe it's the same issue once again. But Demobi is down to P2. Edwin takes the race lead on the final lap. I don't know if Demobi had a moment there on the exit of turn 1 or if his wheel came disconnected. Whatever happened, we have got a new race leader on the final lap of the feature race here for RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship Round 1. Oh my goodness. Drama aplenty on this final lap. Edwin with the race lead. He's got just under a second here to Demobi. Can Demobi fight back in the final 2 sectors? And it looks like Dalavan here is trying to defend from Yasko. Yasko's dropped back. There must have been contact between those two because they've dropped back. But looks like Dalavan doing the right thing and letting Yasko through. There must have been a collision for which Dalavan was at fault, because Dalavan's pulled over and let him back through once again. Edwin with the race lead. He hasn't led a single lap of this race until now. This is unbelievable. Demobi, what happened? What happened? We can only find out. We'll have to speak with Demobi after the race and find out what on earth went wrong on that last lap. But Edwin, our Colombian driver, our Season 1 2019 champion, is going to exit the final corner in the Mercedes AMG. And Edwin is going to take the race victory here in the feature race for RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship Round 1. Demobi, after leading so much of the race, finishes in second, bins it at turn 1. Don't blame him. And Yasko is going to finish in P3. Last season's champion comes out of the last corner now. Oh my goodness, I'm going to catch my breath after that. That's unbelievable. What on earth happened to Demobi? I cannot fathom what happened there. He just just saw his car going slowly and Edwin just breezing past him on the straight after turn 1. Yasko completes the podium, Dalavan 4th, Uni Clark completes the top 5, Thorsten Schmidt, a decent debut in the feature race, finishes 6th, but with a penalty is going to drop back massively here. Nicky finishes 6th, Travis in 7th, then we've got Johnny classified in P9, Ugbar, our Flying Dutchman's going to come out of the last couple of corners now in P10. I'm absolutely gutted there for Demobi. He seemed to have that race at his mercy, under his control, and for whatever reason his car just seemed to come to a shuddering halt there after turn 1, and ultimately he's found himself finishing in P2. Edwin, the race winner in the feature race for the first race of this season. Great racing from the guys. I want to say thank you to all of the guys who turned up and gave us the on-track action. You guys are what makes RubbingsRacing what it is, so hats off to all of you. Edwin takes the victory, Demobi second, Yasko completes the podium with a late pass there on Dalavan. Uni Clark, Nicky, Travis, Thorsten Schmidt, Johnny and Ugbar complete the top 10, and then lower down the order we've got Traven Lionsfoot, Matty Cake in the end retired from the race, as did Duttinho, as did Bruce Law, pulled out of the race there. Unfortunate to see those guys. We'll find out later on what happened there. But thank you everybody for joining us live on the stream, and thank you to all the guys on track most importantly. Congratulations to Edwin, Demobi and Yasko on the podium finishes. We will see you guys on Tuesday for the RRTCC, and be sure to join us next Sunday for the GT3s. Thank you very much, good night and peace.